All right, my friends, we're gonna do some Opal Chrome, which comes from Luxa. So this Luxa Shine top coat is key to getting this to work. So here we go. I'm going to lay down a layer of this Luxa Shine top coat. Now, if you want a really smooth finish for any kind of chrome, you need a really smooth application of this top coat first. So I'll do a couple at a time, if not all of them, aside from the thumb, because when you do the thumb, you'll tip it so they could pull to the side. But I do it so it kind of settles and self-levels and is very, very, very smooth. So you're gonna wanna check that it's very, very, very smooth before you cure this. That's gonna go into cure, and I'm gonna do these 4 on this hand and make sure it's just how I want it. Now, with this top coat, it's not incredibly thin, so I almost like to teach to float it just a little bit. If your foundation, so say your base or your acrylic or your hard gel or whatever's under here isn't smooth, it will be exponentially like shown with chrome. So you've got to have a really smooth finish. So the top coat can't correct that, but small, slight divots, hills and valleys, or maybe just like barely bit of extra product in a spot that's not smooth and even, you can float and kind of compensate for. So I do the thumb separate so that when I tip the nails to the side, because I've kind of floated it a little bit, they don't get all wonky and bulbous on one side. And then I always hand the lamp to my client to hold so that their thumb sits flat in there and their 4 fingers are actually underneath the lamp while they're holding it. Okay, we're gonna use Opal Fire. This is brand new from Luxa. And one thing you're gonna have to do to apply any kind of chrome over this shine is you actually do cleanse with alcohol. And I'm kind of pinching it because I'm really getting in around those edges. I've noticed your chrome won't be consistent to your cuticle if you don't really cleanse around all the edges of the nail. Now, you can use, let's say, like a little applicator, like a little makeup applicator, to be able to rub this chrome on and get it in all the edges. You can use a silicone little thing that we grab from Amazon if you want. I personally like using my finger. I get a lot of crap for it all the time, and you know what? I just don't care. It's what I like to use to apply. So I'm showing you with this. You press it in really, really, really tight to the cuticles. Isn't that really cool? And here, I'll do it for a minute, but I'm gonna switch. You're gonna see me switch to my finger because I can really press it in. Here's the deal about this Luxa Fire Opal. It has more magenta undertones, not just, so Opal Chrome will have like blues and greens in there too. It's almost like it has more color spectrum. So you still have your blues and your greens, but there's also like a magenta, a pink tone that pulls out. Sometimes I like to talk about it like, if you get, like for example, the mood changing stuff I used the other day in a video, it's like you can choose 6 color spectrum or 12 color spectrum. I would consider this more like a 12 color spectrum. You get more variety. And I'm dusting off my excess here, by the way. You can use just like a little fluffy brush if you want. You have to get that off. Or if you polish over the top, you will get a bunch of little dust particles and then your chrome won't look mirror. So I'm scrubbing it, I'm letting it dry a few seconds, and I'm pressing in that amazing chrome, Fire Chrome from Luxa. By the way, Luxa discount code HDH10. The link in my bio has that listed, or if you're joining on YouTube, it will be below. If you click the link there, it'll show tons of products I use. It'll say Luxa, and I'll have my discount code. You can always use that. It's unending, which is unique and nice. Okay, always close your chrome. And then this is fun. I'm going to show you the brushy bit. This is from Erica's ATA. The link will also be around sorry, I'm looking at it. The link will be in my bio or below with YouTube. Focus on the skin around the nail. It removes the excess chrome, right? So if you're not getting a very clean chrome look, it's likely that you have excess kind of around the edges and in that little cuticle fold area, and then you're putting top coat on and then you clean it off and the top coat kind of rubs off and it just looks messy around the edges. You need this brushy bit. I'm running it literally at like 4,000 RPM, so slow, just so it's gentle, and focus on the skin. Here's a trick from Luxa. I just ran out of my Luxa Prime, so I'm using my Young Nails Protein Bond. Both work, by the way, just on the very edges. If you want this chrome to stay well, you very lightly on the edges are going to put a little bit of that sticky primer. And I don't want it up on top. I don't want it to start breaking up, or it makes it like break up the chrome a little bit, kind of pixelizes it. But the Protein Bond or the Luxa Prime doesn't actually do that much. So I just hit the edges with it. This was a tip from Luxa. I really appreciated it. And let it settle. And then we're going to top coat with the Luxa Shine again. If you are concerned about it staying, there's one other step you can do I'll tell you about in 1 second, but I want you to watch what I do right here. You have to cap your edges with chrome. It's too fine of a powder and they will chip otherwise. Okay, that said, my chrome stays really well just using Luxa Shine on top. If you want to take a couple extra steps, here are 2 options. One, takes Luxa base, put that down, cap the edges, cure, then top coat and cap the edges and cure. Another more solid option, if you're really worried, like I have a client who cleans houses and she has to have more solid option, we actually take hard gel, put it over the top, cap it, cure it, and then top coat, cap, cure. And we got that idea from Katie Masters' Nail Thoughts, and she was so great. She shared that with me a couple years ago, and it has been awesome. So there's some options to get your chrome to stay. I know it can be frustrating. Keep in mind when you're top coating here, float a little bit. You've got to maintain that really, really, really smooth surface for the mirrored finish of chrome to really have its effect. And I'm doing the 4 and the 4, and then I'm going to have her switch to cure, and then I take the thumb, and again that's because I'm going to float a little bit, just a little bit of floating to get that smooth finish and let it self-level and settle, always capping the edges. And if you cap your edges and you feel like it kind of got like a bubble line along the edge, then you wipe the top again and pull it up till it's even and let it settle, and then put it in the lamp. You have control of your product. You choose when it goes in the lamp. So I hope this was really fun for you to watch. This was fun for me to show. I am in love with this Opal Fire from Luxa, and I hope that you give it a shot. If you want, links are in my Instagram bio or below with like YouTube, and we're just giving her some oil here. Here's a small trick, by the way, if you're taking pictures for any of those social media platforms. The oil will kind of beat up because it's so smooth on top of the shine, so just buff it off so it's shiny. There you go. Hey, I love when you share these things. I love when you like, you subscribe. I'm so grateful you're here. I hope this was helpful. Tag me if you give me a shot, like if you give this a shot. I'd like to shout you out.